What if I told you all those fancy sanitizers, antimicrobial soaps, deodorants, creams, and even your top secret wrinkle removing serum could be affecting your brain? And more specifically, how you feel. Yep, your daily mood, stress, and emotional state. I bet you'd think I'm crazy, wouldn't you? Or at a little too much tinfoil hat time. And that's before I mention that all of this may have to do with how these products impact the trillions of bacteria living on your skin. All aboard. Next stop, the skin microbiome brain modulation loony bin. Let's go. Yo. What is up? Welcome back to another week of How to Health. My name is Kevin. I run liftandbalance.com, where we take aim at all things health and longevity and do it in an odd, weird, interesting, and highly sarcastic way. Now, I hate to be the bearer of skin-crawling news, but if you weren't aware, you have trillions of microorganisms living not only in you, but on you. Right here, right now. And before you put yourself through an ultra scrub cycle, this is actually a good thing. Because when properly balanced, these microbes, just like the ones in your gut, mouth, and lungs, provide a protective, health-enhancing effect. Yeah, enhancing. A topic that we talk all about in this skin microbiome deep dive here. But at a high level, it's been observed that over 1,000 different species of bacteria and fungi call our skin home, typically living on and in the outer layer, the epidermis, feeding on dead skin, which we are constant producers of, and natural skin secretions, such as sweat. Yeah. These little buggers love a good sweat sesh, and happen to be the reason areas such as your armpit and groin tend to gain a certain ambiance after it, as these are areas that we have centers of sebum-producing sebaceous glands, which produce the oily, lipid-enhanced, glorified water that they can't stop munching on. But we digress. Now, some of the key things that these skin microbes do that make them beneficial include modulating and balancing skin pH, which inhibits the settling and growth of potential pathogens. You know, the ones that we interact with daily in this microbe-abundant world. Yeah, they also, ironically, talk to and often simmer down our immune system, helping our innate police force fend off intruders while keeping them from overreacting and creating a situation of chronic inflammation, which we know is bad, and in the process likely helping prevent inflammatory skin conditions like eczema and psoriasis. Who would have thunk? Oh, and while doing all this, they also find time to help with wound healing, fend off allergens, regulate oxidative stress, and help keep the skin plump and moist. Which, I guess, makes nurturing our skin microbes a better investment than that tube of $90 insert catchy name and slick marketing here. There's even been emerging evidence suggesting skin and gut microbiome crosstalk, with this connection potentially having wide-ranging multi-mechanistic reach. So much for these single-celled dumb organisms being dumb, huh? Because these lines of communication, typically observed being mediated by the microbes in the gut, have been shown to have a direct and indirect influence on severity of acne, oxidative stress, glycemic control, levels of tissue lipid and neuropeptides, the regulation of pathogens, and even an influence on mood-regulating neurotransmitters. You don't say. And for the astute listener, you, of course, that last one is what we have some new, juicy, skin plump data on today, suggesting that there may very well be a skin microbiome brain axis. Yes, skin bacteria affecting brain function connection. Let's check it out. Researchers out of the University of Liverpool, in collaboration with scientists at Unilever, sought to investigate this relationship between the human skin microbiome and psychological well-being, a connection which has remained largely unknown and unexplored up until this point, likely due to all the non-stop action between the gut, brain axis. So kudos to this research team for stepping outside the lines. And to do this, the research team conducted a unique multi-body site investigation, enrolling 53 participants, collecting microbiome samples via skin swabbing from 4 distinct areas of the body: the forearm, face, scalp, and armpit. Areas, might I add, which are known for their sebum-producing tendencies, while concurrently assessing the psychological well-being of participants by performing a series of global and general well-being assessments, using 4 of the most generally accepted methods. From here, the researchers performed an extensive analysis correlating the participants' psychological measures with microbial diversity metrics, along with the presence and abundance of specific bacterial genera from each sampled body site, ultimately looking to see if anything stood out. And they were not disappointed. Here's what they found. First, that there was in fact a significant association between specific bacterial genera residing on the skin and various aspects of psychological well-being. You don't say. Skin-brain axis, anyone? In particular, a genre of skin bacteria called C. acne, or the longer name, Cutibacterium acnes, observing that increased levels of C. acne on the face and armpit were associated with reduced stress, and that increased levels in the armpit were associated with better mood and well-being. Maybe we rename it Armpit-Brain axis after that. Overall, they found that a greater relative abundance of C. acnes across various body regions consistently correlated with enhanced well-being, reduced stress, and improved mood. Now, it's important to note, these were just associations, not causal connections. Think of it as finding the first clue in the beginning of a complex treasure hunt. Data like this is significant because it indicates something is happening, that the state of our skin microbiome is associated with the state of our brain, and that in and of itself is pretty freaking amazing. Now, the real work, or the mechanistic investigation, needs to happen. However, interestingly, this data does have connections to past data we've covered, suggesting that the lack of this same genre of skin bacteria, C. acnes, was associated with an increased likelihood of frailty, which we know is a major longevity liability. The big question, of course, being whether this modulation of the skin microbiome is happening due to what we put on it or due to some other aspect of our lifestyle. And if that's what's driving these internal cellular and metabolic changes, or the other way around. But what this study does is highlight for the first time the nuanced relationship between the skin microbiome and psychological well-being, providing a foundation to explore and build on. That being said, while this exploration is ongoing, we do know some things that can generally help our microbiome cause, and thus one cellular, metabolic, and cognitive cause as well. Let's talk about them. And the most impactful skin microbiome specific things to noodle on may very well be what you don't do, as disrupting your natural balance of skin microbes could be setting the stage for bigger, more persisting issues. So right off the bat, assessing what products you put on your biggest, most permeable organ is a great place to start. As we mentioned before, your skin is covered head to toe with creepy crawlers. So avoiding the harsh, chemical-riddled antibacterial body care items, and instead opting for natural alternatives like simple, real ingredient-derived soaps and creams is something to think about. My personal rule of thumb is, if I wouldn't eat it, I'm not going to put it on me. Because you should assume that anything that goes on your skin gets in your body. And get this, many of these natural products may actually act as a prebiotic or something that feeds your good skin bacteria. Next, as we called out earlier, skin microbes love sweat. So embracing the suck and getting in some consistent badonka-donking will not only boost your cellular, metabolic, and cognitive health, but also feed and nourish the trillions of bacteria on your skin. And now I guess we can add that to the mountain of reasons exercise is awesome. That being said, we also can't forget the gut-skin connection. And as you know, one of the most impactful ways that we can nurture these gut microbes is by the food that we eat. Thus, the real whole food, fiber-loaded, pre- and probiotic-packed eating protocol, accompanied by a consistent 14-hour overnight fast each night, will likely, directly and indirectly, help your skin microbes help you. Lastly, the icing on the skin microbe cake is getting out and interacting with the outside world, aka nature, because this is where the vast world of microorganisms resides. And the more we interact with the elements and environment which we've evolved in for millions of years, the more we modulate, tune, and diversify our microbiome, inside and out. Oh, and that nature thing also has been shown to be one of the most effective ways to boost mood and brain function as well. Which, in all honesty, is something that all of these interventions do. That's the best part of this healthy living thing. It not only impacts your primary outcome, whatever that may be, yes, looking cooler naked applies, but basically everything else too. Because at its foundation, these interventions enhance cellular and metabolic function, which is the basis for everything that happens in and on our body, including the diversity, function, and happiness of our creepy crawlers. If you'd be so kind, I would love to hear your favorite go-to ways to nurture and cultivate your microbiome. So please drop them in the comments below. And remember, everything you do affects them. So keep helping you help them help you. Make sense? Good.